Welcome to this special Euro edition of the Football Fill-In. England might have started with a win yesterday, but it is not all pretty. We've got plenty to talk about. Mark Goldbridge is not happy with Gareth Southgate. Jude Bellingham, you are the man. And what was that celebration with Trent Alexander-Arnold? It's a football fan. Lads, let's start at the back then, shall we, right? So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go through the spine of the team, starting from the back, moving our way forward, see who could play, who should play, who played really well, who didn't play so great. Right, talk about Pickford. Watto, I'm going to come to you to start with.
Yeah, I love him. I think, obviously, he's England's first choice, no doubt about it. Really comes alive, I think, in major tournaments for England. And that's something we've missed a little bit, to be honest. I think if the goalie plays well in a major tournament, it gives us a platform to build and hopefully go deep into the tournament and have a chance of winning.
He was so animated yesterday, didn't you? Did you see his facials all the time? Anything happened? Because later on, obviously, we sat back and they kind of pressed a bit, didn't they? They had a few half chances and this. He was still on everybody. I love that from him yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, he's not one of the best goalkeepers in the world, but I think when you look at 2004... David James, I agree with Watto. I think he's not a concern in that team. I'd like Ramsdale to be the keeper, but he doesn't play
really?
Yeah. Not now. I think going into the season, I would have loved Ramsdale to be Arsenal number one and take it, but Pickford gets it.
Do you not think there's a lot to be said, though, for Pickford? The fact that every tournament we go to, World Cup, Euros, he does a 7.5 out of 10 every single time.
Yeah, I think he's the right choice. I mean, as I said, I think there's better goalkeepers in the tournament, but we haven't got a better goalkeeper than Pickford at the moment.
I'm double happy with Jordan Pickford. I really am. I think he does a fantastic job. Right, let's talk about the defence then. Let's talk specifically about the back four from yesterday, OK? The first one I'm going to talk about, Guehi, did really well, didn't he?
Yeah, I was talking about that before the game on the watch-along I did, and a lot of people were sort of saying Konza should play or whatever like that, and I was like, well, look, I remember Terry, I remember Rio Ferdinand 2002, should have been in the FIFA World Team of the tournament, and they gave it to Sol Campbell, but no one really was talking about him, and then I think it's so important to get a clean sheet because he is getting a bit of stick. We haven't got Harry Maguire, and I think that getting a clean sheet, he was probably better than Stones in the actual game. And hopefully he'll grow into the tournament because Maguire is such a big loss. So yeah, I was really pleased with him, and it he is a weakness because of his inexperience, but that'll do him the world of good.
Do you know what? A lot of people will take the mick out of Harry Maguire and they'll be a bit. But what Harry Maguire offered us in offensive, do you know when the balls are coming into the box?
Yeah.
You know he is good for a goal or two at a major tournament, isn't he?
So good in the air.
And that's the bit that. I love Guehi. I thought he did fantastic yesterday. And I think him and John Stones actually worked really well together, didn't they?
More mobile.
Really mobile, really calm, really composed. There were a couple of headers late on as well, what I weren't there, where I'm thinking, yeah, decent, that. No, I read that really well.
I was impressed. You want to start with a clean sheet for the goalkeeping perspective, but the back four, when everybody's talking about that's the real weakness, the deficiencies in the team, I think that's where we'll probably talk about who could have played in whatever position. Is it the right combination at centre-half? But like Mitrovic is a proper handful. He's got a good goal-scoring record.
Strong boy, you know?
And you thought, would he be able to handle the physicality of him and obviously missing Maguire's presence? Because obviously they were going to play long into him and they're going to put crosses in the box. I thought he defended it really well. And I think if that partnership can stay fit, healthy and grow every game, with Pickford in behind him, who we know he's a 7.5 out of 10 every match, if they can become 2 7.5 out of 10, we've got a real chance because you need them three to be at it every match. Because when we come up against better opposition and what you touched on, more mobile opposition, I think the two of them, because they're mobile in front, I think we'll probably be a little bit better than when Maguire's there.
Stones is the problem, isn't it? Maguire's a big loss, but it looks like we'll be okay. But John Stones is quite injury prone. If we lose him, I think
that's a massive spanner in the works, isn't it? Kyle Walker, $1 million. He always is what he is. There was a time yesterday actually in the game where Serbia had a little bit of an overload on that side, and Kyle Walker, he's got the lad trying to overlap him here. Kyle Walker just went, I'm just going to stay with the overlapper. The lad with the ball carried on running. It all got condensed and shut up, but I'm just thinking that's such good defending as well, because the lad has got a full sprint on him as well. The overlapper had a full sprint on him, but Kyle Walker can get up to pace so quickly, caught up with him, snuffed it all out. It's fantastic. But on the other side, Kieran Trippier, I think this is where we're going to struggle until Luke Shaw is back fit, because he is not really the most mobile, up and down, helping Phil Foden out on that side, is he?
No. Luke Shaw was on the bench. Obviously didn't bring him on. You'd hope that Southgate's just like,
just chill.
Just there, yeah.
Just chill, just
maybe
wait.
A few more days, but it's a big ask. I mean, Luke Shaw's not played for Man United since January. And there's no...
Can he get back up to pace that quick, do you reckon?
I don't think you can. I mean, we've seen Beckham, haven't we, with his metatarsal, Rooney. Yeah. You're not match fit.
What's he looking like?
You're not match fit.
Do you know what I mean? Because I think if you can see him in training and you can see what he looks like, because I've seen a few different versions of Luke Shaw, and I've seen a hungry Luke Shaw, and you can just tell that he's going to be good to go. And I want to see him in training to have a little glimpse of what he looks like. The
problem with Luke Shaw is he came back from a long injury in January, played against, I think it was Wolves, and went off at half-time, came back Luton, went off at half-time. He's just so injury-prone. Yeah. And he does come back quite ready. He's not one of those players that, takes a bit of time, but his game is so stamina-driven, up and down, a bit like Kyle Walker, that I just worry that we really do need him for the balance, but I think it's a big ask that he's going to come back and be ready to go.
I reckon winning that first game last night was massive because it gives us a chance now to rest him again for the Danish game. Do you know what I mean? We don't have to go full force against Denmark, do we?
I think the importance of winning that first game, because if you win that second game, you still want to win the group for the passage and the so-called easier route for sure. But if you can win them first two games, it actually gives the management a chance to say, right, who's in a little bit of trouble, who can we look after? But maybe you can put Luke Shaw on for 45 minutes the next game.
Perfect,
because you've got some scope, and that might be enough, and then he might be ready for the round of 16.
Denmark drawing, by the way, they were absolutely heartbroken. Did you see them at the full time? They were absolutely fuming. That's a massive blow for them.
You know the importance, mate. You know what I mean? If you get off to that win, you win the second game, you're done, you're through. And I think if you think it's a 7-game tournament, you can make it a 6-game tournament for your superstars.
Yeah.
So you've got to have more in the tank when you go deeper into the tournament, and I think that's the importance of it. I remember my 2 Euros as a coach drew both first games. So even though you win your second game, it's not done on 4 points because you want to... Yeah. So the last game, you can't make the changes. Whereas if you can win the first 2, you can say, look, we're done.
Yeah, but this is... this is the thing I'm not fully sure about either, though, because there's some people that would say, right, if you win your first 2 games, let's win the third one. We still put our strongest team out. We go out and we absolutely blitz them, right? But then there's other people that say, no, rest your stars. Rest them for the first knockout stage game. What is the best thing to do in this scenario? Do you know what I mean? Do you play a full-strength team so that when the first knockout game comes, everybody's still firing, or do you give them a little rest?
Well, I think the problem we saw yesterday with the game against Serbia is that Southgate is a crap coach in the sense that he tactically isn't very switched on when it comes to substitutions, because you can make so many subs, can't you? I don't know whether we know, but I think you can sub more than 5. I don't know what the rule is.
No, surely not. Surely
I think you can.
It would be. Isn't it like what the Premier League would do?
I don't know. But you've got a full bench. Anyway,
yeah, you've got.
I think you've got more scope on the bench, but I think it's the UEFA rule will be 5.
It's still 5. Yeah,
but you've got a bigger pool to pick from.
So what he should be doing really is, because it's a longer tournament, like Watto says, like Harry Kane should have come off for the last 20 minutes because Serbia were playing high and Ollie Watkins. So I wouldn't you could change in the third game your whole team because there's good players, isn't there, like Gordon and Palmer. But personally, I think he should be making more subs.
What would you have done differently yesterday then? What subs would you have made at what point as well yesterday? Because first half, I think everybody... We got in at half-time. Apart from the last probably 10 minutes of the first half, right, I kept thinking, we're just sitting back a little. But it's fine because we've been on fire for the first 30 minutes. It's fine. What would you have kept it the same then, or at what point would you have made some decisions?
I heard Stuart Pearce was apparently saying take Foden off after 25 minutes. That's nonsense, really. You know, get to half-time, and what happened in that game is the first 15 minutes we had like 88% possession. We score a goal.
It was incredible.
And then what we do against Croatia in the semi-final of the World Cup, and what we did in the final against Italy.
Sit back.
We get that goal, and Southgate, and Ten Hag said it on Dutch TV, he said that's down to the manager. Yeah. He scores the goal, does the hard work, and then wants to play this risky game of moments to get the second goal, whereas actually you should just go and win the game like everyone else
like
does.
what the Spanish did or what the German did. That's what they did.
100% we're used to this. It's not we're not guesswork here. This is like what everybody does. So at half-time, I'd have given it 5 minutes. You'd see the same things happening. I'd have pulled Bellingham back next to Rice. I'd have put Foden in. I'd have took Trent off. I'd have brought Gordon on the left-hand side. Yeah. That would have been the first change. And then if it's still not changing, I think Serbia are pushing forward. Harry Kane doesn't look fit to me. Off he comes for Watkins or Tony, who are both very good at being up front on their own with the spin and turn to make that Serbian defence a bit scared. Yeah. And I think those two changes would have given us more control of the midfield, because Bellingham was like bullying Serbia. Yeah. So put him in next to Rice, who didn't really need it. He was my man of the match anyway. But as we know, Southgate's just too much about his card club and who his favourites are, and he made the changes too late. And I thought the changes were wrong as well. Gallagher for Trent was very obvious. Yeah. Bowen for Saka was very obvious. They didn't change the way we played, did it?
Was it like, Watto, when you're getting at half-time of a game like that, where you've been so dominant, but you can see that they've just fell off for the last 5 or 10 minutes of the first half? At what point do you say there at half-time, if you're the manager or the coaches, right, lads, no, get back on the front foot again. We start this second half exactly the same as what we started the first half. There's no excuses for it. We don't play this like, just sit back and take our time and just try and nick something. Surely you would say, right, lads, these Serbians aren't great, you know. These aren't fantastic. Yeah. We go for the throat here.
Yeah, you should do. But, like, I were a little bit disappointed in Serbia at the start of the game, if I'm honest. It were like watching the top 4 in the Premier League against the bottom 3. Yeah. They just sat so deep. And, yes, we got 88% possession because we were up against nothing. Every time they cleared it in their own box, it were a boot forward. They weren't playing into Mitrovic's strength at that point. They were 30 yards from the goal. We grew into the game nicely because we had possession. There were never any danger. Every time they kicked it clear, we were in total control. But as they grew into the game and we'd not got that second goal, then you know at half-time that they're not going to play that same way. We're in there, we're winning 1-0 at half-time. As a manager, or a coach, I'd have been saying, look, lads, we know we've got to step up. That last 5 or 10 minutes, we've actually given them a momentum
shift. A bit of belief, yeah.
But what we've got to do is we've got to see how they start that half, because they are not going to sit in that low, deep block. They're now, first game of the tournament, they're going to change. And I think that's then where you're thinking as a coach or as part of the management team, if they do change, which they should change, they've got to get something out of the game, then how do we make aggressive subs, not like for like, aggressive subs, that as the game opens up, our better players are in better positions and we can hurt them because there'll be more space.
It has to be like that, though, as well.
It's aggressive, isn't it, like you say?
You've got to be aggressive.
Instead of just you know, political.
Do you know what? You can't... Look, 1-0 win, right? There's no such thing as a comfortable 1-0 win. No. There is not.
Well, you don't win that game. You don't win that game against France, Portugal,
no chance. They get a goal.
They score the goal.
They get a second
goal.
goal.
It's in the final. Yeah. But it's like I was talking about my experiences in the tournament. I can't remember whether we were 1-0 up or it was 0-0 at half-time against Russia, the last tournament I did. But we were so much better. We got the goal, but they scored an equaliser in injury time because it was 1-0. Yeah. And when it's 1-0, if Serbia would have nicked that...
Mate, it takes a set piece.
Look at Slovenia's goal. You know, Kasper Schmeichel's right behind it, deflects off the arse. Yeah. Like, what can I do?
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
It is simple as that.
And that's why 1-0's never enough. And then you go back to Spain, Germany... It's relentless, aggressive football is going to win you this tournament.
I've got what I think could be or should be the perfect team for the next game, all right? So I think Trent did okay yesterday, not fantastic. Didn't rip up any trees, did he, really? I think Bellingham can play in the 8th position alongside Declan Rice, and I think we can put Cole Palmer in that number 10 position. And I think if you are playing, even if you're playing against one of the best teams, if you're playing against one of the big boys, they would look at that starting lineup and go, shit, that is incredible. We are going to have to be on our game today. Not only are we going to have to be defensively sound, but when we attack, we're going to have to really think about this here. What do you reckon?
I think the big problem we've got is I would like to see Phil Foden come in as the number 10 because
Who would you play on the left one?
I don't know what you two think. You've played the game, but I look at it and I go, look, I remember with Sven where he put Scholes on the left, and I was like, I would rather you dropped Scholes and Lampard and put Nicky Butt or Carrick next to Gerrard and put your 2 decent players on the bench because balance. Yeah. Like put someone on the left wing. You can't be in a major tournament and have a right back at centre midfield, a right back at left back, and a number 10 on the left wing. This is elite football, and the reason Pep Guardiola doesn't do that, and people will say, well, Vardyell's a centre back. But you know what I mean? You put round pegs into round holes, and we're putting square pegs in round holes when you've got no, you know, you've been the goalkeeping coach at England. You don't have long.
Yeah.
You're asking Trent, you know, when he receives that ball with his back to him and it bounces off him, we were talking about...
Michael Richards said that.
Mitrovic, he's not used to receiving that ball. And if you're Conor Gallagher or you're Kobe Mainoo or you're Wharton, you've done that for the last 5 years of your life, and it's second nature.
This is why I think, and Jude Bellingham, I still think if you play him in there as that 8, he can still do everything he does. And he still will do as well. He'll get forward, but he'll also get back. When you've got a Declan... I agree with you. I think Declan Rice was man of the match yesterday. I loved him. I thought he was fantastic. A couple of times he mops it up.
You're mopping it up.
Reads it. But see how like clever and switched on he is. A couple of times Guehi stepped in as well. And he was like, I'll just sit in this space here then and chill and wait for it.
If you then want to play Bellingham at the side of him, you know that he's going to do that. And he'll sit there. I mean, Bellingham playing at 10 yesterday, he were actually taking the ball off the 2 centre-halves anyway. If you'd had his belt on or monitor, the distance is covered.
I want to see his heat map. I bet you it would go constantly between edge of our box to the edge of their box, box to box.
He can do that. And I'm a bit like you. Look, I think Foden's probably played for City on the side, but he's good at 10. But if you want to play him at 10, get Palmer or Gordon on the wing. And play them. And we talk about work rate. I mean, Gordon for sure, but Palmer for Chelsea.
Palmer's an animal.
Yeah, but there's no fear with these guys. They'll be aggressive. That's what we want. We've got to play with no fear. And look, the manager makes the choice. And did Trent do okay? Yes, he did okay. And it's an easy one for us to talk about and be critical. But we've got better midfield players in there. And playing Serbia, and no disrespect to Denmark next time, and then Slovenia. But if you think about now what the manager should be looking at, Denmark, Vestergaard, left side centre-half. What does he want? He wants to play against Kane, doesn't he? What he doesn't want is to play against Tony or Watkins.
He don't want anybody in behind him.
And they can't sit back for a draw and hope that they're going to then win the last game. Denmark, you know what I mean? And if it's an open game and there's more space, you've got to think about where we're going to get as wins.
You look at the international football, I mean, I was thinking about driving over. If we don't win the Euros, it's because of Southgate. It's because we haven't got a good coach. You watch Italy against Albania. Spalletti, who won the league with Napoli, I mean, he's over-qualified for international football. And you look at that team, and after 20 minutes, I was like, this don't look right to me. And he's got his right back, his centre-backs, his left back, and then he's got Jorginho holding like we've got Rice. He's got Barella who scores a goal as the 8, and then he's got Pellegrini as the 10. Then he's got Scamacca as the 9, Chiesa on the right, and it should be Fratesi on the left, but he's on the right. And DeMarco is doing the left back and the left wing role, and then the left-sided centre-back sort of moving across. And it's like, that's really clever to be doing that in international football. And they ain't got the squad we've got. And you look at what we've got, and you're going, we've got bloody Trent Alexander-Arnold as a bloody midfielder, and we've got Phil Foden playing on the left. And it's like what happened to Scholes. You know, the press are now going for Foden, and they went for Scholes in 2004. Drop Scholes. Playing on the bloody left wing. He's not a left winger. It's you know, put him in his best position or don't put him in the team.
I just think with them those really good players, like they don't like Phil Foden a left winger, like Cole Palmer a natural number 10. They all switch and move. So I think it has to be a case of free license with them guys sometimes as well. Is go right. You lot know where to be when the ball is there and when the ball is there. So we'll just rotate around it, all right? Would you?
Play like Bellingham did. If he's getting the balls off our centre-halves,
if we had 11
they've got
of them,
to show that fluidity in the team. But the big problem for me is he's got decisions to make whether he keeps playing Trent for sure. But unless Shaw can give us some balance down that side,
that's the biggest area.
We
can't do anything about that. You can't moan about Southgate. We've got no left back, so we've got to be in balance.
The opposition coaches, managers, tactically, we'd be going to one-trick pony because we know we're not going to have that outlet down that left side.
So at least play a left winger. Anthony Gordon has been the most, you know, I don't want to call him steady Eddie, but what a season for Newcastle. Goals, assist, I'm a left winger. I haven't got a left back. So let's put Phil Foden on the left wing. No, put a bloody left winger there.
Why can't we, if we get the result against Denmark, play Anthony Gordon at left back for 45 minutes and Luke Shaw there for 45 minutes. Just do something to say, look, the opposition are going to be guessing here, because that would be brave, wouldn't it?
I wouldn't mind what you said about Palmer as 10, though. I know it's not nice, but Serbia had Jovic on the bench because they've got Mitrovic and Blahovic. Put Phil Foden and Trent on the bench. wow, it's not that hard, is it?
Got to play them,
but it's like what Sven used to do. I've got to get all my good players into an 11, and then you're imbalanced, and then you're like, then your tactics look rubbish.
I think as well though, you have to play the players who are going to give you that aggression, right? Yeah. So Jude Bellingham, if we had 4 or 5 Jude Bellinghams who would have that aggression and that nous about it, and they're really in people's faces. Kyle Walker does it. Kieran Trippier does it. I bet you Anthony Gordon would do it as well.
He's a Southgate player.
You see Anthony Gordon when he plays for Newcastle. You see how riled he gets when he does that last block or gets that cross in and he's raring the crowd up and stuff like that. Those little things, they go unnoticed, I promise, but they are so important as well.
Well, Southgate also, if we're being completely honest, I wouldn't give him a job to any club in the Premier League and Leicester haven't got a manager, and I still wouldn't give it Southgate. But Anthony Gordon, Jude Bellingham, Trippier, Walker, Rice, they're Southgate players. They're just players that you say go out and do a job. You don't know what. Grealish isn't there because he's got an opportunity not to take Grealish because he doesn't know what to do with Grealish and he doesn't know what to do with Foden, really. So I don't know why he's picking Foden. You either play Foden as a 10, put him on the bench. But he's scared, isn't he? He's scared of taking Harry Kane off because Harry Kane might tell him off.
Yeah, but do you know what, right? We'll talk about Kane in a minute and that, but I think sometimes it's almost like we've got an embarrassment of riches, yeah? And...
Well, would you pick Foden?
I would pick him.
I would. Where would we pick Foden?
Yeah, I would.
Number 10 for me.
Yeah, of course you would. Yeah,
10 for me.
But the thing is as well, though, I think we've got so many of them good players, right? And I think sometimes it's like he can't do right for doing wrong either, Gareth Southgate. Because
he can if he drops them.
Yeah, for sure.
We'd all put Foden at 10, and he won't, so don't drop him.
But if we played Foden at 10 and then in the next game he didn't do too great, it'd be like, well, why did you put him there? He should be playing over there. And I think sometimes it's like, you're making a rod for your own back. It must be an hard job, because you...
He makes it harder, I think.
No, I just
think he makes it very hard.
I do. It's an impossible job.
It's well hard,
The conversations, but this is what makes football great.
It's great, isn't it?
Premier League,
I know.
The Euros, the World Cups.
Mate, the first 20 minutes yesterday, right? I'm watching this first 20 minutes and I was thinking, oh my God, it is coming home, lads. We're winning everything. We're in their faces, the passing, the movement, trend, that, everybody.
I will like that, but I was really disappointed with Serbia because I thought it was the first game that there weren't two teams trying to win, and all the England stuff were really good. But then when it came to a proper game in the second half,
but that's mentality. Surely that's just mentality.
But you know what? Like Southgate is, you go around his house for a 3-course meal. First, the starter is absolutely the best prawn cocktail you've ever had, and you think this is going to be a great meal, and then he wheels out cold beans on toast for the mains, and you don't even get a bloody pudding. It's like that's the problem with Southgate. He lures you in, and you go, oh my God, we're 1-0 up against Italy at Wembley in the Euros. It's coming home, and then he goes, 1-0 lads, let's switch up, and then you can't switch it back on again, can you?
And
when you
that momentum shift, that's the problem in sport and top level sport. When that momentum shift's gone, he could be the best manager England have ever had or the greatest manager in world football. But when that momentum's gone and you've allowed it to go, when he's on the sideline, he can do nothing.
And that's the word from Watto, isn't it? You know momentum's going to shift in football. No matter what. Germany knew Scotland at some point would have an attack, and Switzerland were brilliant in that first half against Hungary, and Hungary were brilliant second half, but they've got the 2-goal cushion, haven't they? But Southgate, we score 1 goal, the momentum will naturally shift, but he lets it switch. And you've got to push home and get that second goal.
You've got to put your foot down on their throat and you've got to twist it and turn it.
And he won't do it. He takes the foot off.
What did you... everybody watched the Germany game against Scotland, didn't they? There was not even a question of a doubt that Germany were just going to keep...
They'd have done them 9-0 if they could.
It could have been 9-0 as well. Genuinely, it could have been.
That's the mentality.
They got 3 up at half-time, then they're down to 10 minutes, and I'll guarantee you they've gone in at half-time and gone, lads, we're just going to have to chill a little bit here, yeah? Don't kill yourself. Don't run your legs ragged. Don't get any injuries or red cards, all right? And just chill. Ended up 5, it could have been 9.
And that's the problem with Southgate, isn't it? It's like the Germans, you look at some of the failures we've had, like losing that final, the semi-final, the quarter-final against France. We all go, oh, so close. And the Germans would go, get rid of this guy. Yeah. This ain't what we want. Enough, yeah. It's that mentality shift. Everyone's frustrated, and there are people going, what are you moaning about? We won. But the frustration is that we should have gone and won that game 3-0. We should be talking this morning going, oh, my God. And actually, we've let Serbia back in.
What do we think of Bukayo Saka's performance? First half, phenomenal. Second half, just kind of faded a little bit, ended up being taken off for Jarrod Bowen, but... we're happy with Bukayo Saka on the right.
I think he's massively... We speak about it every week, don't we, when we do the normal season. I don't get it with Saka. It's almost like there's a movement to try and dismiss or call him a flop. He's Off the pitch, his mentality is fantastic. On the pitch,
that
his
first half,
consistency.
honestly,
yeah.
that poor left back. I was thinking you're going to have to get
coming off.
You're going to have to get brought off. He did really well in the second half, in fairness. But in the first, I was thinking you're going to have to come off here, mate. It ain't going well for you.
I think it suits him in a way though, because it's all about Bellingham, it's all about Kane, it's all about Foden, and we've got probably one of the best. Who doesn't he start for in this tournament on the right side?
But this is again though. When you talk about balance. When you've got a Kyle Walker behind you see some of the overlaps Kyle Walker did yesterday.
Well, he should have scored, shouldn't he?
It's ridiculous. But he knows he's got that. It's a massive safety net. He knows he can get forward, and he knows if they break on us, Kyle Walker's going to be coming back and covering everything. It does help out so much, doesn't it?
Yeah, but that's where you talk about the balance on the left side. The same. I think Saka's a shoe-in, and yes, he made the change. The game had changed in the second half, didn't it? But first half, I mean, he looked like a standout performer for England. Obviously gets the assist. I know it's a little deflection, but he looks the standout player. If we could have that same balance down the left-hand side, whoever has to play left-back, but you can still have your proper left winger there and real offensive player, because Trippier's not going to be going overlaps inside you because he's not so comfortable to do that. So actually, you could actually have him in a real aggressive position, because Trippier's never budging, to be frank with you.
Not, is he?
You know what I mean? So in terms of a back three, you're always set there, because Walker can be high, because the two centre halves and Trippier are going to be holding in them positions.
It's arse about face, really, when you think about it, because if we had the problem that we've got at left back at the right hand side, you could overload the left-hand side, knowing Trent's playing as a right-sided midfielder who can just drop in at right back. But we're so overloaded on the right and we've got nothing on the left.
You see, just talking about defenders and that, do you see the Dutch backline, by the way? Oh, my gosh. Like, Mickey van der Ven can't even get into the starting lineup.
Did he not start yesterday?
No, he didn't start.
De Ligt didn't start either.
He came on at left-back, he did.
They've got Aki
was incredible.
Van Dijk.
He came on at left-back, Mickey van der Ven. That's, jeez.
Wout Weghorst saved them, though.
Well, Big Wout. It's never in doubt, is it?
No.
It's never in doubt. Big Wout to the rescue.
Actually, for all that glorious football that Holland want to play,
Mate.
when you've got somebody like that, unpredictable, he doesn't know himself what he's doing some of the times, but for the opposition, it's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
I tell you what, though, I still think it's coming home, because I never expected us to play good football. Southgate's the coach.
Do you know why it's coming home? Because he's going to watch this podcast or listen to it
and just make some changes.
I can't believe after the last half an hour of you just absolutely slating us, right? You've just said it's still coming out.
Because I don't expect us to play good football, but what I do, you know, when you mentioned Saka there, it just reminded me, you know, he's a match winner. Kane's a match winner.
We got
Bellingham's a match winner.
Place.
You can frustrate the crap out of the nation with these tactics and everything like that, but as long as that defence does a reasonable job and Pickford makes a good save, at the other end, 30 seconds, Saka, 1-0, you know, and that could be...
Well, no.
Can we just... I know we've said a lot about Bellingham already, but we have to just how good is this? In the sort of, I'm going to say the word pantheon here, of good, solid, incredible, amazing central midfielders for England, just how good and how high up that list is Bellingham?
He's 20.
He's 20.
It's unbelievable. And they took the guy off who were trying to deal with him, didn't they, at half-time?
He couldn't deal with him.
Because if you see the goal... Like the guys doing the punditry never even mentioned it, but he comes into the centre circle, he gets the ball, he gets the ball, starts it. Their number 6 is with him all the way. Obviously, we've got the outlet wide, but he just drifts into the box because we've got the momentum. And
Brian Robson-esque, if anyone remembers that.
We fill the box, and then because we fill the box, because they're so deep and we've got so many offensive players in there, he can come from that deep position. They're number 6. Lost him within 5 years. Don't know where it is.
You're not going to stop someone that big.
We got a little bit of luck with the deflection of the cross. But if you're putting the number of bodies in there and our wide players can deliver, you're going to get them chances. Look, for a 20-year-old, I mean, it's just phenomenal. And the stories just keep going to get bigger and bigger. He's gone to Real Madrid. Looks like he owns the place. Won the league. Won the Champions League. And can he win it for England?
Do you know? Do you remember back in the day when you used to play Championship Manager and you used to be able to like go into player editor and you could like make all their stats out of 99 and stuff like that, and their height and all those attributes. He has got everything boxed off, Jude Bellingham. Everything. Look at the size of him, the stature of him. Like, broad shoulders, strong legs, big bum, big glutes. Do you know what I mean? Everything about him, his mentality. Like, he's a winner. He's aggressive. He likes to get into that shoulder badge on the...
Oh, we're amazing. Amazing. That's what you want. You want to see a bit of that.
Well, it's funny because I saw that and I was like, in our chat, people were going, oh, don't like that. And I was like, this is the problem with the English.
I love that.
We like losing. And what he's done there is he's just left it in on someone, and that's what the Germans do.
If I see my mate do that on a football pitch, right, I'm going to love that.
Well, that's what Zidane would do, isn't it? It's like, you know, you're not. I'm the best player on the pitch, but also don't think you're going to bully me.
I think he got a little bit frustrated with his teammates. Yeah. You saw him at certain points when the camera were on him, and he's getting them. Come on, we're up.
Come on.
But he's gone to Real Madrid, and the standards, like Ancelotti, what a coach, and all the things he's done. But, like, that's a team of winners.
Well, he'll be under more pressure at Madrid than he'll ever be at England, won't he?
So he knows they're not accepting that. They're not accepting that we're not doing the work. And I could see him trying to drive them on. And he's become a real leader at 20 years of age in terms of he seems to grow on the field every time he puts a shirt on for England or Madrid. But at 20, to take that responsibility, he actually looks like he's played 100 games.
Do you know what would be an interesting one is in a few years' time when Harry Kane ain't playing for England anymore? Who would be an England captain?
It has to be
him or Declan Rice, though? Who would get that?
Well, you're blessed, aren't you? But I'd give it to Bellingham because I just think he's got that Zidane sort of personality thing where it's like, you know, absolute talent, but also mentality. And you've played in the Championship. He played 30 games as a centre midfield at 16.
Yeah,
that's.
Do you remember when Birmingham retired his number?
They looked stupid, didn't they? Now it's like
they sold him to Dortmund, and they retired his number, and everybody was rinsing them, saying, "What are you doing?
Very clever,
what are you doing?" I agree that I think they would. I think he is a future England captain because when those players look around and they see Jude Bellingham with that captain's armband, he is the proper poster pin-up boy, not just because of how he looks or might score the odd goal. He is everything you want in an England player, in a player, full stop. He is one of the best ultimate players, isn't he? He's simple as that.
If he can stay fit and healthy and have a long career, because I saw a stat for Modric when he started against Spain, that was his 175th cap, Modric.
Gosh.
So obviously he's been fit well and managed to do it, but he's got the mentality to keep going. And he's even saying that if Croatia get to the World Cup, he'll play at 40 because that's what he wants. But Bellingham, if he can stay fit and healthy, and it's a big if, but you imagine 20 years worth of that. I mean, how many caps would he get for England?
It'd be up there. It'd be the same sort of thing.
Same thing. It's incredible kind of numbers, you know?
I do detect a little bit that the press are just waiting for him to fall, though.
I don't think he's got a fall in him.
Well, the only thing I would say is, and I quite like it, you know, Beckham, 98, Rooney, 06, he has got that in him. But I like that because if you haven't got that, you don't barge that player. So, you know, Zidane did it, didn't he, against Materazzi or whatever his name is, or whatever. But you know what I mean?
You need an edge. You need to be able to control it. And look,
England need that.
The moments where you can just go across the line, they've been unlucky, them lads, and they obviously got really pillared for making really silly decisions. But I think Bellingham's he's got the edge for sure. He's got everything. And honestly, it would be mind-blowing how many caps this guy can win if he stays fit.
I think just going back to what you said about Cole Palmer, though, I mean, one of the big problems we've got, Harry Kane doesn't look fit. He's been injured a bit, and he doesn't get subbed off. But he also likes to drop in, doesn't he? And I think when you look at Trent in the team or Saka in the team or Bellingham or Foden, I do sometimes look at it and think, Watkins suits this team better because we've got so much quality in the midfield. That's our strength. A guy who's just there to get in behind and run the channels, whereas Kane wants to be involved in it as well.
He drops into
that's what you go back to it now. Denmark's the next game. We know they're a big physical
This
team,
has to be an open game.
They've not got the legs.
This has to be an open game, though, doesn't it?
To make it better.
Them drawing means that they have to go for it. They have to. It's as simple as that. Because if another draw, they're waiting on the final game then, and nobody wants that. So they are going to be open. So you'd like to think there's going to be some goals. There's a chance to put a really attacking team out here on next week, isn't there?
Yeah, sure. But the thing is, for me, as an England fan now, we've won the first game, right? We've just touched on it. Can we go all the way? Yes, we believe we can go all the way. But we've seen some really good teams already, and some of them haven't played yet. But which team or what kind of team is going to pose us some problems as we get to them points? Because that's going to be the difficulty.
Yeah. What we're going to do for the next game then? Any ideas, any suggestions of what we're going to change? What would you like to see?
Probably start really well, score a goal and then sit back. Because I think we could go and... I watched the Denmark game. I think we could go and beat them, real statement. But we should have done that against Serbia. So, if you sit back against Denmark again...
So what do you want to see then? What different formations? Do you want to see different players?
I'd just make 2 changes. I'd put Bellingham in next to Rice, Foden into the 10, and probably start Anthony Gordon on the left.
Yeah, I think
that's what I would do.
Do you reckon that's a sort of like the nation would concur with that a little bit?
I don't think you're going to go against it. I think you can argue who you'd play on the left wing, but I do think we need to probably see Bellingham sat there with Rice, because I think against the better teams, I think that he can play so well in any position. We need to see him there because it gives us another attacker against a better team when that's what we need, because Bellingham can still do his bit, but we need more fluidity in them forward areas.
I don't understand why people think if you put Bellingham next to Rice, he's wasted there. I mean, Declan Rice is like Rodri. He'll just go.
No, absolutely.
Just go.
That's the beauty of Declan
Rice. And Trippier's staying anyway, so you're not getting
done. No, exactly.
Declan Rice does not want the headlines. He just wants to sit in his little slot and go, right, you good players, go on. You go and do what you need to do, and I'll make sure everything's cool, all right?
I enjoy lifting that trophy. Lovely, 14. Perfect.
Right, predictions for the tournament then. We've only seen kind of 75% of the team so far. We've still got some of the big boys to go. Who have you been really impressed with so far? Germans for me. I'm going to say Germans, lads. First game of the tournament, I think there's a lot of nerves in
Big pressure at home as well.
They kicked off and they looked $1 million from the get-go. An absolute $1 million. They knew exactly what they're doing, they do.
Yeah. Depends how bad Scotland
are.
But
I think that's it. You're trying to quantify the opposition, aren't you? And that's why I said England looked really well first half, but I thought Serbia didn't play hard. I wanted them to play against us.
Yeah.
But, they know we've got some great players, so they can sit in there. But I thought Scotland were really, really poor. But fair play to Germany. Hey, look, Spain doing Croatia 3-0. I think Holland have got a real good team, but only just got over the line. Portugal, wow, I think they could be anything.
Yeah.
And Belgium, you're not quite so sure. I think the big thing we were talking pre-show for Belgium will be what happens in the goalkeeping department, because if you are very content not to take one of the best goalkeepers in the world, he's not even in your squad, who's just picked up the winners' medal in the Champions League, then I think you're putting the guys who have got to replace him under a lot of pressure.
I think for me, obviously England-Denmark on Thursday will be interesting, but I'm really looking forward to Spain-Italy.
Yeah.
I know it was Albania, but that wasn't an Italian performance. I mean, I've grown up on Italian football because of my stepdad was Italian and he always was supporting them, and it was always a hard watch. They do well, but it was a hard watch, and I thought they pinged the ball around so well, but you're sort of questioning Albania. Spain, I don't think it was a 3-0 game. I thought Croatia wasted a lot of chances. So I just thought Italy was so well coached, and Spain as well. So that game for me, I'm sort of looking at those two. They've been the most impressive. Germany have been really good, I agree, and I think they'll grow into the tournament. But I don't think Scotland are that good. And I'm also like Watto. I think looking at Portugal and France. Let's see what they've got.
Yeah, I want to see Portugal because you look through their squad list and it is phenomenal. But you just don't know.
No. Well, they've got a crap coach as well. Martinez. He's Spanish Southgate.
Hey, he won the FA Cup with Wigan. Come on,
didn't he? Do you remember when he got sacked by Everton and he had a 6-year deal and they had to pay all of the money out? Apparently it was something like 15 million.
That's why he's always smiling when he's on telly.
15 million he got paid out by Everton.
He makes the tea if he goes on BBC. He says, Gary, what do you want? It's fine. He's Mr. Chill.
Oh, you're a dickhead. Right, is it coming home still? Are we still going to win it though, yeah?
Yeah, it's too early to write it. You know what? I reckon we'll beat Denmark on Thursday and everyone will be singing It's Coming Home.
There you go. What time?
I think we're going to get to semi-finals.
You know what? If we go out, unfortunately, we can predict it. We will sit here and go, we should have won that. Yeah. Southgate's lost it for us. I can't see us losing a game 3 or 4-0, playing really well. I think we'll lose it because tactically he makes a bad decision.
I think he 1-0 or 2-1 or something. Before we get to the quiz then, lads, did you see the goal celebration between Bellingham and Trent Alexander-Arnold?
Yes, and it was totally lost on me.
You ain't got a clue, have you?
I think it's something to do with musicals, Phantom of the Opera or something.
Okay, do you want me to explain?
That was wonderful.
So there's a game that they play called Wolf, all right? And it's been in football for years. Like when you travel on a Friday, for example, you get to the hotel, you have your dinner, and then it's like, right, lads, we're going to play Wolf after dinner, everybody, okay? What happens is the whole squad, and I'm talking the whole squad, you're talking 20, 25, you all sit in a big circle on your chairs, right, all around, and you're all looking at each other, and there's a deck of cards, yeah? I think it's 4. 4 people are the wolf, Yeah, everybody gets the Delta card, and there's different sort of cards. Most of them are just sort of like nothing. You're not participating. You're just trying to find out who the wolf is. But the 4 people, they pick their cards up, and it's like, try and put it down. You try and play it off because you don't want to get caught, right? So everybody else is starting asking questions, and they're looking at you and they're reading your body language, and then you start sweating and you start stumbling and no, I'm not the wolf. What are you on about? I am the wolf, all right? And that's the beauty of the game, is to try and ask questions and to dig into people and get in their psyche and try and melt them down a little bit. It's a really good game, to be fair. And it's a really good game, it's a good icebreaker game, and good to get to know people as well. So that's the game. And
So why are they doing that?
I think the celebration is something to do with a staff member does it or something, or if they think it's somebody and all that kind of stuff. But it's a good game, yeah. You should try it.
We'll try it next episode.
Yeah.
3 cards.
We'll have a little 1 versus 5 of us in the ring. Yeah, we'll have a little game of wolf, lads, yeah? All right, quiz time, come on. Right, Jamie, you ready for the last quiz on home soil? By the way, we're going out to the Euros. We're going to be there all trip long, aren't we? Out in Germany, not Marky Boy, unfortunately. He's doing watch-alongs. He does 3
I've got
a
a
day.
tag.
He loves it. Yeah, you can't leave home, can you? We're going to be out in Germany, though. We're going to be out in Frankfurt. We're going to be out in Cologne. We're going to be doing football fill-ins from cafes and stuff. We're going to get some crazy England fans over to talk and tell us what they think of everything.
Couple of beers, couple of bike rides.
Boom.
I'm
You need to get
excited.
some fans from other countries on as well.
Okay, yeah,
That'd be good.
nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
There you go. We'll do that. We'll do a bit of all sorts. We will. Jamie, are you ready with this Euro special quiz?
I am ready, yeah.
Come on and give it to me.
Yeah. Question 1. Which country won the Euros in 2012?
Spain.
Spain is the correct
Oh, what
answer.
a start that is.
Do you want a statistic about this?
Yes.
Yeah, please, Joe.
Spain created history by winning 3 major international tournaments in a row.
Yeah.
Euro 2008, World Cup 2010, and then Euro 2012.
Phew.
They had that's never been done before ever, and they became the first country to retain their Euro title.
Oh,
Not a bad team, that one, Jay.
that's
Not
the,
a bad
that's
team.
the Iniesta and Xavi
Busquets.
and oh yeah, team.
Boring.
Torres up front, maybe.
Yeah.
Good goal in there.
David Villa, Victor
Question
Valdez.
2. In what year was the first Euros held?
Oh, this is tough.
76.
No.
72.
No.
84.
No. 1960.
Oh, wow.
Who won it for 25 years then?
There we go. Question 3. Who was the head coach of the French national team during the
Deschamps.
FIFA Euro 2020? Deschamps.
The only one I can
Correct
think
answer.
of. The only one I can think of.
Are you sure he's not seen these
Suspicious.
He's not
questions?
seen it.
Suspicious, that.
He just knows his Euros not.
Right, French coach. Who comes straight to mind? Didier
Depends
Deschamps.
what year it's going to be. We didn't know.
Didier
We didn't get to know what year it was going
Give
to
me
be.
another one. Give me another one.
Who was the French coach in '98?
Didier Deschamps.
Gerard Houllier, when did he do it?
Oh, was he French coach?
Right.
It was that one.
That's
Was
when-
it
that-
Jamie Jacquet or something?
Jacques, yeah, but
Jacques,
it was Houllier when he fell out with Ginola because they didn't make a tournament because
Oh,
he
yeah,
had
'cause
the
he wouldn't
ball
go to the corner.
and instead he crossed it and the I can't
94,
remember
94.
counter attack goal won it and I think Houllier was the manager when him and Ginola had a big fallout. Stand by the corner flag with the ball, mate, and we're in.
Just kill some time. 2-0.
I don't think I was alive when that happened.
No, I don't think you were either.
No. Get that on the next.
You were
question.
alive when you gave him the bloody answers, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Question 4, 2-0 to Ben.
All right, mate.
Who is Belgium's all-time top goal
Lukaku.
scorer? Lukaku is the correct answer. He has scored.
He's on that as well, isn't he?
I'm on fire today, lads.
He has scored 85 goals for Belgium, and next below him is Eden Hazard on 33.
Wow.
Yeah. So
He's well in front.
I'm
Smashing it.
interested in the proper one that goes from September to May, which I won.
The Premier League one.
Yeah.
You didn't win that.
Yes, I did.
he did.
You did.
This is just a bubble.
You get extra points for winning this one, especially when we get on away soil. You know what
This
I
is
mean?
international football.
2-1-0.
Question 5. Which player nicknamed Bambi chose to play for Germany over England?
Musiala.
Musiala is the correct answer.
Is he nicknamed Bambi?
I didn't know
I
he was
didn't know-
nicknamed Bambi,
I didn't
but
know
I was reading about
I
that.
thought it'd throw you off by
How good's Jamal Musiala?
Yeah, yeah.
How good
So-
is he?
Yeah, there was a photo of him
like a wish
this morning next to Bellingham in their England
Yeah.
kit,
Yeah, I see it,
saying,
yeah.
how did we lose this
He
one?
is, he is, to be fair, he is like a B-Tech version of Bellingham.
That's harsh. He's very harsh.
That's how good Bellingham is.
Yeah, true, but he's still very, very good.
Let's hope he doesn't bring it home for Germany.
Yeah, true that.
There we go. Question 6. 2-1-1. Who scored the winning goal for Spain in the UEFA Euro 2008?
Silva.
Not Silva.
Torres.
Fernando Torres is the correct answer.
Oh my God. Where were these questions left out before we started?
Mate, it's either Villa or Silva or Torres. So
You're not knocking them down.
I'm not knocking them down.
I see,
Not
I know,
knocking them
look.
down.
you think I know?
You're always looking in.
Look, round your head.
There's a mirror
over the-
behind Jamie somewhere.
3-1-1.
The thing is, if you're going to cheat, you're meant to do it realistically. Everyone's going to go, what's Ben been doing? This is
I
not
am
normal."
straight at the camera, and that's it.
Right, come on, Jay.
Question 7. Florian Wirtz
Yeah.
scored the
Florian
first.
Wirtz.
Yeah, scored the first goal at the Euros this year. But what club did he play
Leverkusen.
for? Leverkusen.
I couldn't tell you the answer.
Apologies for
He
pronunciation.
looks like a good little player, him.
Very
He
good.
does, doesn't he? Yeah. He looks a great little player. Did you say Florian? then?
Lorraine. Lorraine. Yeah.
Well-known German name. Well-known German name.
Yeah.
Apologies. Question 8. Which country was the runner-up in the UEFA Euro 2004 tournament where Greece were crowned
Portugal.
champions?
Oh, come on. I knew this.
Yeah.
Remember that when Greece won?
they won that.
That's
In
bonkers.
Portugal as
In
well.
bonkers.
Bonkers.
And they were crap. You didn't miss anything.
Oh, God. If you've got the answer to this, who scored the goal, Luke?
I think it ended up with...
Oh, that's
I would have
really
definitely,
good.
I would have definitely not got that one.
Charisteas. Very good.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh,
It
man.
scores a 3-3-1.
How many questions
Oh, am I
left?
back in it?
You're back in it.
How many questions left? 2.
2 questions left.
You see these cards? You
Knowledge.
look over the cards.
I can just kick it on.
A baller.
I'm the opposite of Southgate. He switches off.
You switch
I can
on.
just switch
You
on.
kick into gear.
Momentum's on
Aggression.
your side now, by
Yeah.
the way.
I'm about to take it.
Not
back.
if he knows question 9 and 10.
Ah,
Question 9. Who was the top goal scorer of UEFA Euro 2016
Kane.
and was named the player of the tournament?
Ronaldo.
No and no. Who was the top scorer of UEFA Euro
Portugal won that one.
2016 and was named
They did.
player of the tournament?
But you wouldn't, obviously it's not Ronaldo. That's why I said it.
Ronaldo was in second place. He had 3 goals.
That was when he was on the touchline in the final, being the manager, wasn't
yeah, you were coach and everything.
he? Who was in the final with him? I saw it the other day. He was on the
Morata.
touchline.
No, it's a French player.
It's got to be Henry on it. No, not Henry.
Benzema.
No,
Giroud.
no,
What?
Mbappe.
no.
Like 16. He was about 7.
Anton Griezmann.
Griezmann.
You're never getting that.
That's ridiculously good question.
Yeah, 6 goals he scored that tournament and got player of the tournament. Yeah.
Wow.
Fair play to him.
France.
Got him the little move to Atletico or Barca.
And
didn't
he's
he?
been there since, hasn't he?
On about 300
Picking
grand a
him
week
up.
as well. Thank you.
I'm pretty sure he was good before that. But
Yeah, maybe.
Where did he start his career at?
not a clue.
Yeah, it was
Atletico
in
probably?
France. No, it was in Spain. He
Yeah.
started off at Sociedad.
Wow, knowledge.
I don't know why, because he's French.
Question 10. Which 2 countries co-hosted UEFA Euro 2008? Which?
Spain.
Russia and Poland.
No and no.
Netherlands,
No. You're all wrong.
Belgium.
No. Right, no one got the answer to that
Well, tell
one.
us it then.
was
No,
Austria
you don't.
and Switzerland.
I knew.
Austria.
I knew it was in Europe.
I didn't know
I
that.
knew it was in
Oh,
Europe.
it's tiebreaker. Is it just tiebreak between me and Mark?
Yeah.
So you're out of this, all right?
Sorry,
Unlucky.
sorry, Watto.
Give me.
Sorry.
I'm, I'm better on away soil.
Fine, you got Thursday. You got Thursday. You can do it on Thursday.
That question was good.
Yeah, good that. I didn't know that.
Question 11. Which German player is the captain of the national team this year?
Kimmich.
No.
Oh shit.
Oh, he's dove. He has dove right in.
That's only one of them I know.
Yeah.
I can't think who it is if it's not him.
Think. Which German
Oh,
player
yeah,
is the captain
yeah,
of the
yeah,
national team
I know it.
for this Euros?
Mate, I know it, and I can't think
If you
of his
don't
name.
get it, can I answer it just because I think I might be right? I might be one of them
Yeah.
$1 million
Let
questions.
Watson-
No, I know it, but I can't think of his name. Right, listen.
You can't look at me, mate. You
No.
can't look at me. You
He played
can't
for
look at me.
Barcelona. He used to play for Man City. That guy.
Well, I can't give anyone.
We can't look at you, mate. We
Might be
can't
right,
look
might
at
be
you.
wrong, I can't
How
say.
long's he got here, by the
Right.
way?
Gundogan.
Oh, Gundogan's the correct.
Yes! Get in there!
Man, I knew that.
Ilkay.
Yeah, Ilkay Gundogan.
My boy Ilkay Gundogan. Whoa! Come on
Well
then.
done, Ben.
Who did you say? Kimmich?
Yeah.
I said Man City and Barcelona. He went, I don't think it's him.
Yeah, I was trying to get. I said it's the goalkeeper. I was trying to get in his head.
It could have been Neuer. Because Neuer
Could
was
have
the
been
captain.
Neuer. Yeah, it could have been.
I had to double check that answer because
No, I know
Thanks,
it is.
lads.
That's in it.
I did.
Cheers,
Well, that's
mate.
fair enough. I'll
Cheers. Thank you.
You might have cheated on the first couple, but you made it fair in the end.
Yeah, it was fair in the
See, I weren't. I didn't know any answers.
Enjoy your trip.
Make sure you're watching his watch-alongs, by the way. You watch his watch-alongs all the time, don't you?
All the time.
That's football. He's doing, what are you, like 3 a day or something like that?
3 a day,
And
market
you're-
leader.
And you're market leader, so you
nice.
get more views than anybody else that does watch-alongs.
Combined.
Oh, yeah, cool. And we're talking big boys here as well. You have all the big boys with all the big budgets and stuff, but they all come and want to watch you, don't
I don't know what it is.
I do. Right, we'll see you all soon, all right? We'll see you out in Germany. All the best.